Hello, fellow players of Hero Wars. I'm Jay. Welcome to Jay vs. Hero Wars. Today, I will be talking about my approach for adventure number 11, which is level 120. And through the video, I'm going to actually do the path for, in my opinion, player one. And essentially, at the end, I will kind of recap what I did in terms of where I went in the adventure, as well as some options for you and your guildmates to get 4 chests on adventure level 120. Whether, player one ends up using up all their hits and not missing any attacks, or whether they accidentally miss one attack because of a buff or for whatever reason, and how you can recover and still get all 4 chests if player two is able to essentially pick up that missing attack. So without further ado, let's take a look. Alright guys, so today we are going to do a quick adventure. We are going to do adventure number 11, which is this one right here, right? Adventure 11, level 120. So there are a couple of ways you can approach this one. Let me go ahead and claim these chests real quick. And from there, unlucky on most of our chests there, but we got the full 4 chests. That's all you could ask for. So we're going to go ahead and do adventures. That's the one that this is the one that I do the most. Adventure, not those two. We are talking about adventure number 11, which is level 120. So I'm going to go ahead and create a group. I'm going to go ahead and begin. Don't really need to go private. We got enough guys in our guild that can handle it. So I typically like to go ahead and take, in my mind, the hardest path, which is the first path that basically unlocks all of the buffs and basically like just tries to mow down as many as possible. So the first buff, I like to take the physical damage one, which is, that's a popular one. Sorry about that one, guys, but that's the one I like to take early on in this adventure. I do like to mix up my teams depending on what kind of buffs are available, because usually, as you guys know, with these adventures, there are different buffs daily. So some of the heroes get, buffed. One day it might be tanks, another day it might be support. It just kind of depends day to day. So there we go ahead and take out squad 3. Then I usually like to take decreased physical damage. I like to leave the decreased magic damage for someone who's going against the boss, because Orion, or in this case, like Dark Orion, right, is like a magic attacker. So I usually like to save the magic, attack decrease for someone who's going after the boss, just because, well, it helps against Orion, right? Whether it's Dark Orion or regular Orion, it helps. So from here, there's really 2 choices you can go. You can either go to 8 or 9. I typically like to go to 9 first. It really doesn't matter. It's almost like a mirror image. So eventually you just need to hit as many as you can and take out all the tower buffs. So we're going to go ahead and go to 9. And yeah, I like my team. We're going to go ahead and stick with it. Now with this one, I do actually like to watch it go, just because I want to make sure that I don't run into any problems. If I do run into any problems, so after you take out this first buff, right, because you can take out either one, you go ahead and go to this one. I'm again going to take decrease physical, save the magic one for, the person who's going to try to fight the boss. I realize it doesn't always work that way, but that's kind of how I am approaching it, because it's possible that you miss one. If you miss one, you can still recover and have someone cover for you, essentially, right? But that's also why I think that this first person going into into this adventure should be the one to take the path that I'm taking, just because if you mess this part of the path up and you miss more than one time, you can't recover and get 4 chests. So from here, 18, I usually go to 17. And I take down this buff. So once I've taken down the 17 buff, I like to go to number 16 here. And I don't think we'll have a problem with Yasmin, but it is buffed. I might as well go with Faceless here. I do have the power advantage, but you know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And let's make sure nothing goes wrong here. So yeah, once you get rid of the tank, usually it's not too bad for adventures, at least for me. Especially if there's not the right buffs. I mean, once you start doing these daily, they seem to be a little bit easier. See here, we got no buffs on the enemy team. I don't really need to worry too much. I still like to put in Jorgen and Faceless. I have a bunch of heroes that are support that I like to swap in and out. I know I just like the flexibility. I know everyone has different preferences, but that's me. So here we're just going to take this guy out. And it's taking a little longer than I'd like. But finally, we take him down. All right, so that took care of that. And then we got to take out this buff, of course, which is number 28. And this is usually where things get a little bit more difficult, right? I like swapping in Faceless sometimes as well. And I think it will help me here just because I know looks like we got tanks buffed, I want to say, based off of what I was looking at, because I think Lilith here is buffed. But the faster we get rid of Lilith, the better. She keeps growing if you don't get rid of her early. So that was a nice, quick, easy one. Then we go over to 29, which is a buff on the boss, right? And this is just making it easier for our fellow teammates to take down the boss. Satori, I've seen, can cut down Orion real quick in this boss fight. So if you have him, I recommend him, especially if he's like relatively powered up. Yeah, but I do recommend one of the stronger players take the path that I'm taking, just because for 4 chests, it's really an essential path. It also frees up, some mobility for your teammates to know what they need to do to get the 4 chests. Because I personally like to get all 4 chests. So here we have this team. I'm just going to roll with Faceless. It's also really nice that my Kark is buffed. I have no complaints with that, because the only thing that's left to do on my Kark is to essentially get him to red +2 on this account. So we're chilling. We're loving life. All artifacts are maxed. Everything else is, the skins are all there. I'm hoping for a new skin. That would be really cool. So then I can actually, have a fair fight with people who have maxed out complete Twins teams. But, it is what it is. So from 30, we go to 31. This is, I think, the last buffed fight that we have. So once I get rid of Astaroth, I don't think it'll be too tough. King can only dodge for so long. 5 people coming at him. So from there, we just need to take out 25 and 19, and then our job is officially done. When you see Rufus, of course, you want physical attack. I think we're going to be just fine with Kark hitting 3 opponents. So we're going to keep rolling. So this is a path that I like to take just because I know this one so well. I've done it so many times. Before this one, I really liked doing adventure. I want to say 100, level 100. That one just seemed to be really lucky to me. I always tended to get decent rewards. This one has definitely gotten some better rewards. Typically, I do recommend everyone to keep doing the highest adventure that you can, just because you get the option to get, you have the potential to get more chaos particles. And I think that's really essential, because chaos particles are hard to come by unless you're really willing to, kind of put forth the financial burden, if you will. So, what is left for our fellow teammates, right? So, you have this path where you go straight up the middle, and you go ahead and take out this buff. You get to get your own buff, right? And then you get to follow the pathway. And when you get to here, essentially you have a dance. So either you get to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. Basically, you're gonna have two people going around here. So the other person is gonna go, take out this one, then come here, take the buff, go all the way around, right? So they're just doing the opposite end, and then whatever side, right, it can be either the left half of this, I guess it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this, half of this octagon, right? And then the other person takes out half. And then each person should hypothetically have two attacks for Orion, the Dark Orion here. And if you mess up, see, you have two mistakes to make sure you try to clear all four so that the other teammate can take down the boss in 2 hits. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms for the overview of this adventure. And if you do all that, you should get all 660 points as well as all 4 chests. So real quickly to recap, here is the route I essentially took, and I tried to number it for you guys, so hopefully this helps. Feel free to screenshot it or do as you please, but I will also post up my preferred method for approaching this adventure. So here is my preferred paths if possible. So this assumes that player 1 does not miss a single attack, and both player 2 and player 3 each have 2 attacks on the boss. What if player 1 somehow misses it, right? So here is my alternate path, right? So player 2 will then have to essentially try to make up for that lost 20 points and will not have the opportunity to miss an attack. Now, if player 1 misses their attack, right, or is unable to do all of them, then player 2 has an opportunity to basically make up for that mistake, and here is my alternate path for that. And I hope this video helps give you an approach to attack this particular adventure. This is just how I do it. There are other ways, of course. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to toss me a thumbs up and subscribe. I also plan on having a Yasmin counter video coming out for you guys soon. So go ahead and answer, what is the most annoying Yasmin team that you're seeing, right? I posted that for the community to go ahead and give their responses if they wish. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in Dominion.